Hi, welcome back to our lecture video. So as you can see here in the picture, there are three vectors, vector A, B, and C, that is acting upon an object. Okay, so uh, we say that these three vectors here can be represented using a single vector, or the effect of these three vectors here can be represented by a single vector. Say the effect of single vector is what we call the resultant vector. Okay, once again, the effect of these three vectors here can be represented using a single vector that is called resultant vector. Okay. So in order for us to do the mechanics of doing this resultant vector here, we have the what we called the vector operations, in which we can add or subtract vectors. Okay. So for vector addition, we can now add vector A, B, and C to come up with this single vector here, the resultant vector here. So for vector addition, we have two main approach. We have the graphical method, and we have the analytical. Okay, so the graphical method only uses illustrations or graphics then to determine the resultant vector. So later on we will use this graphical method as well as this analytical method. So under the graphical method, we have what we call the parallelogram and the polygon method. The parallelogram method is can be two vectors. Parallelogram method is used to add two vectors, and while the polygon method is used to add two or more vectors. So if you have two vectors, let's say we have vectors A and B, we can now use the graphical method under the parallelogram to determine the resultant vector. But also, we can also use polygon method to add the vector to come up with the resultant vector. Okay. But when we have two more, let's say here we have three vectors, we need to use the polygon method since we have greater than two vectors here, and parallelogram method is not applicable when there are greater than two vectors. Okay, that is for graphical approach, meaning you need to use ruler and protractor to do this method. But another more precise approach to determine the real value of the resultant is the analytical method. In here, we will add vector using components. Later on, I will also discuss it on a separate video lecture.